Hey everyone, it's Sarah Crawford here. Social media for authors. Sorry I had to make another streaming video. The first one that I scheduled was through just like YouTube, and then I wanted to use StreamYard, so I had to schedule a different one. So yeah. Oh, hi. The pronoun. Let's see. I'm just want to make sure there's like nobody in the old one. Okay. Doesn't look like there is. All right. Okay. Hey, Kaylin. Hey, writer Sam Wicker. How's it going? Has everybody had a really awesome retreat so far? I haven't been able to, watch as much of it as I wanted to live, but I'm planning to, catch all the replays. I've just had kind of a busy weekend, but hey, Tracy. Hey, Hulda. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Jesse Elliott, hello. I want to give it like just a few minutes before I jump into the thing. Charlie, hi. Oh yay, people are like, wanting to learn about social media. Well, I mean, I'm sure you guys all already know a lot about social media because you're here, But yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get started if that's cool. Hold on. Okay. Can everybody see that? Hopefully you can. I did pronounce it right. Oh, that's good. Logan, Mary, Holly Davis. How's it going? Okay, welcome to Social Media Tips for Authors. I have a handy little PDF that I made because I have, there's a lot of like links in this to different resources. So if you want the PDF, just email me at sarah@sarahcrawford.net and I'm happy to send it to you. So, okay, so this is why I'm talking about this. I have a BA in English and MFA in creative writing. So like I have a lot of writing experience and a lot of experience as an author, obviously, but then I've worked in digital marketing for 8 years as kind of, my day job. So currently I'm working for a marketing agency as a senior content strategist. And one of my things that I have to do in my job is manage all of our clients' social media. So, and I'm also, author of 5 novels, and I've indie published them, and I just have one out with a small press. So I have different perspectives on social media. I have the perspective on social media, from a business perspective, and we have a wide range of clients at my agency. Like we have a strip club, we have a company that sells metal roofing equipment, like just a lot of different, a lot of different people. So that's kind of given me different perspective on social media in all those different, audiences, I suppose. But then I also have, experience using social media as an author, and then I have experience using it as a reader too. So, I mean, this is something that I'm pretty passionate about. So that's what I'm talking about, social media today. Okay, so the first tip that I have is you want to specialize in your favorite social media platform. So some people are going to try to be on like all of the platforms. You don't want to do that. I mean, I think it's okay to have a presence on all the platforms, but like you generally really want to pick like one or two to really dive into, if that makes sense. So you need to understand, the different platforms, what kind of people are on them, what kind of content works best in each platform. Obviously, you guys all like doing video content because you're on YouTube. So, just play to your strengths. Like if you're a very visual person, obviously you want to be on Instagram or maybe Pinterest. If you're, a kind of a more like political type person, you want to be on Twitter. And it also depends a lot on what kind of genre you're working in, what your target audience is. If you're a lot of YA authors have a lot of success on TikTok because there's such a big teen audience there. I have yet to dive into TikTok. I know a little bit about it just because of, my job, but I haven't really done that much on the platform yet. So, okay. So I'm just going to go through, and tell you like a little bit of few tips for each specific platform. So Facebook, one of the cool things you can do on Facebook is to use Facebook groups. So obviously there's like an Authortube group that probably most of you are in. If you're not, you should definitely join if you do Facebook. But it's just groups are a good way to connect with other authors, to connect with the readers. Some authors have a group, just specifically for their fans, their readers, and that can be like a really great place to like announce, releases, get a ARC, advanced review copy team, like a team of beta readers. I mean, whatever, like you want to have like a street team, people that help you promote. That's a good place to do that. And then the Facebook algorithm is something that you really have to think about. Everybody, most authors, we have author pages. And the thing is, if you post anything promotional kind of in your personal profile, Facebook really wants you to pay to promote those posts. So they want you to post them on your author page and pay to boost them, which you definitely can do. But, if you're like me, you don't have like a huge marketing budget. So, one of the things I do to get around the algorithm is to like post on my personal profile a lot. And, sometimes, most of the time I'll post both places, but I always make sure I post on the personal profile. But like, instead of just posting a link to a podcast or a blog or something you want to share, it's a good idea. You'll get more views if you post an image and then put your link in the comments. So that's just like, that's just a good tip. But yeah, getting around the algorithm is kind of tricky sometimes. So you kind of just have to do a lot of trial and error and, try different things. When I was trying to promote my podcast and I like everything I did, they wouldn't show my post to anybody. So I eventually just started posting pictures of my cats and then being like, oh, this is a picture of my cat and not me promoting my podcast. And then, everybody thought that was funny and I got more traffic to my podcast, I think, just from that. So if you want to get into boosting posts and doing Facebook ads, there's a really good book called Help, My Facebook Ads Suck. And if you get the PDF from me, I have linked to that in there. But yeah, it's that's a good book, and it really kind of covers everything you need to know about Facebook ads, and they can be really effective. A lot of indie authors use them, and it's just if you haven't tried it, I would play around with them. Okay, Twitter. a good thing about Twitter is pitch contests like PitMad, SF, science fiction and fantasy pitch, like that one. There's a pitch contest calendar that I also linked to in the PDF that tells you all of these pitch contests. If you're not familiar, basically the pitch contests, you can pitch your book in like a really short, sentence or two, like just a tweet. And agents and editors will look through them, and then if they like your post, you can send them a query, and it's kind of a way to get your query, they'll definitely read it if they liked your pitch on Twitter. Actually, my book that just came out with the small press, they originally found out about it from PitMad in 2018, I think. So yeah, it took 2 years from the time when I posted the tweet to when it got published. But it does. Those things do work. So Twitter can be a really good tool for getting agents and editors, like even just looking and seeing what agents and editors are tweeting. That can be really informative. And there's the manuscript wishlist hashtag, where all the agents and editors will talk about the kind of books they want to see. If you have a time travel book, you can type, hashtag MSWL and then time travel, and it'll pop up, all the agents or editors that have said they want to see like something with time travel in their tweet. It, will come up. So that's that can be a useful tool. And then there's you can use hashtagify.me to find popular Twitter and Instagram hashtags that you should be using. If you're like in the writing, like hashtag writing community is a really big one on Twitter. Hashtag authors of Instagram is really big on Instagram. So it's just like getting to know the popular hashtags on each. Morgan says it bumps you to the top of their query read list. Yeah, that's they're not more or less likely to extend an offer, but it definitely drums up interest. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Doll, good to see you. Good luck with your sprints. Have a good time there. I haven't actually done any of the sprints. I'm hoping to do one like after this, hopefully. So we'll see about that. But anyway, Twitter, yeah, it's Twitter can be a good tool. It can also be really kind of negative place sometimes. Like it could be, there's a lot of political, just like arguing going on Twitter. So you kind of have to be careful sometimes and about self-care and not going down these rabbit holes that I tend to do sometimes. And, just get sucked into this negative thing. Like you don't want to do that. But Twitter can be a useful tool. Okay, and then Instagram. Instagram stories is a big tool. A lot of people will just go on there and just scroll through the stories like forever. I mean, it's a pretty popular thing. And there's always interactive tools you can use in stories, like polls and stickers. You can make them cool looking. You can play a song that you like, whatever you want to do. Hold on. I created a Twitter and follow people, but haven't actually been on Twitter and don't plan to be because it's not negative. I've heard it can be. Yes, it can be negative. Definitely can be negative. But all social media can be negative. So it's like social media is just a tool, really. It's not good or bad. It can be used for good things. It can be used for bad things. So you just have to think of it as another tool in your toolbox. Instagram is I have been more active on Instagram in the past couple of years. I really tend to like Instagram a lot more than the other social media, because I feel like Instagram is not very negative. Like, it just seems, especially the author community on Instagram, like everybody just seems really supportive of each other. One thing you want to do on Instagram, just to make your photos kind of stand out, is use, a program like Photoshop or Canva. Like, Canva is a lot easier than Photoshop. I mean, I've learned a little bit about Photoshop just in my job. So, I use that probably more than Canva, but Canva is definitely an easier tool to use. But they both, like, Canva also has an easy, like, Instagram, like, can you edit photos in the free version of Canva? I'm pretty sure you can in the free version. I think you can't use like all of the features. Like, you might not be able to use the background remover and things like that. Canva will let you crop and filter pics. Yes. But it is just like an easier tool to learn than Photoshop. There are things you can do with the free version, though. I don't think you can do like everything with the free version. But yeah, it's not exactly. Eva Wright says the free version has a lot of options. It's not great for photo editing, but it's great for turning photos into graphics. Yes, I definitely agree with that. And then Instagram, people will have challenges, like September is, I don't know what's going on in September, but, people will have like, oh, it's fantasy month or sci-fi month or whatever. And then they'll have like a different prompt every day. So that's kind of a good way to get some more, traffic, get some attention on Instagram, is just to participate in challenges, because a lot of people are usually participating in challenges. So, you'll get more likes on your photos, and it's just more of a like community type experience. And that brings us to the secret word, which is stories. So in the Authortube virtual writing retreat, they're going to be giving away, I think, 4 $15 Amazon gift cards for everybody who's collecting secret words. So the more secret words you collect, the more of a chance you have to win the giveaway. So yeah, stories is the secret word from me, and I'll repeat that later. YouTube, obviously you guys all know about YouTube because you're on here. But yeah, some good things to do on YouTube. Really just any kind of collaboration with other YouTubers like this kind of, the Authortube writing retreat or other live streams. A lot of people have writing sprint live streams that they do every week. Then there are tag videos. There's an Authortube. I know there's an Authortube newbie tag, but I feel like there's a bunch of other Authortube tags. I haven't actually done a tag video in a while. So, this is all very do what I say, not what I do kind of talk. But response videos are also like if there's a video, where somebody's saying something controversial or something like that, and you do a video responding to it, those tend to get a lot of views because like you're contributing to the conversation. So I think just really the general theme is that YouTube is a very kind of collaborative platform, or at least I think that's the way that I see people using it effectively, if that makes sense. Okay, then these are just some good tips for all platforms. So you want to participate in conversations. So you don't want to just make it all about you. So your social media shouldn't just be, oh, buy my book, here's my book. You know, I mean, you want to post entertaining content that people want to follow so that, you know, when you do have a book out, you know, they'll be more inclined to check it out because they're like, oh, hey, it's, you know, this awesome Instagram account that I follow that I'm really, you know, involved in. And they feel like, you know, they know you, they do know you. Like you can really make like genuine friends on social media, I think. Definitely can on YouTube. Yeah, so I think it's really just about engaging with your followers, engaging with your, you know, people that become your friends. And really it's just a way to think about it. It's just a big community, if that makes sense. And reaching out to influencers and people with bigger followings is always a good thing to do. I have a trilogy, an urban fantasy trilogy called The Muse Chronicles, and all of the books in that trilogy are titled after M83 songs. M83 is kind of like an indie musician. It's really just one guy, but he has like 80,000 followers on Instagram. So I reached out to him and just to tell him about, you know, my books that are titled after his songs, and he actually shared my books with all of his followers, which actually got me like quite a few sales that day just from that. So, you know, you never know. And it's always just, I think, a good idea to approach these people. You know, there are a lot of like Bookstagram people or BookTube people that have a ton of followers. And, you know, they're like, if you want to send them like, you know, advanced reader copies of your book or anything like that, like some people are really open to creating like, you know, interesting Instagram posts with your book. That's happened to me before. And that's like a good way to promote yourself, I think. And then just cross promotion with other authors is, I think, a great thing. I mean, there's an attitude of like, people think, oh, all these other authors are my competition. But I don't think that's really the way it is. Like, I think there's room in the world for all the stories. And the more people, like if somebody decides they want to write a book, we should all be encouraging that, because every person that writes a book is going to read way more books than they write. So it's like kind of a self-sustaining community in that way, you know. So I just think, you know, we should all be supporting each other as authors. And I think, you know, when you're supportive of other authors, they will also be supportive of you. And, you know, it's like when you have panels, when you have events with multiple authors, more people are going to be interested in that, because, you know, if there's like 5 authors, you're going to get all of their followers, as opposed to just one author having an event, you know. And so really it's just being a part of a community. Like the Authortube community is a great community. I actually have not been as much of a part of the Authortube community as I've wanted to be, you know, recently, because my life just kind of blew up. But, you know, here I am doing the virtual retreat. So I'm trying to like kind of get to know more people and be more involved. But yeah, and another thing is you want to be consistent with your content. This also depends on the platform. Like Instagram, you tend to at least want to post something once a day. Some people post a lot more than that. Twitter, it's like, I mean, I think you want to get on there at least once a day if you really, want to be involved in Twitter. But the point is that you shouldn't try to do it all. Like, you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to, be really involved on Twitter. I'm going to be really involved on Instagram. I'm going to have a YouTube. I mean, okay, this is probably not advice that I should be giving because I often do try to do it all. But I have kind of like stepped back on some things recently. Like, I have a Pinterest. I have one, but I never go on there. I never do anything with it. Because, I just, and you can't do everything. You can't be everywhere at once, So I think it's good to just pick one or two or maybe even three and just kind of like really focus in. I did the pro version of Canva. Tracy is asking about that. I did use that at one point, and I think it is really good. If you don't know Photoshop, I mean, everything I could do with the pro version of Canva, I could do on Photoshop, but it is a little more complicated. So I would, definitely recommend maybe checking out the pro version of Canva and seeing if it works for you. My second tip is to be genuine and authentic. So you don't want to be a carbon copy of anyone else. People are following you because they like your content and they want to hear what you have to say specifically, So you have to ask yourself, what makes you stand out? What makes you unique? What do you have knowledge of? Maybe you can talk about your passions, talk about your journey and your struggles and your process and be honest, but you don't want to complain all the time either. We all know those people who are just complaining all day on social media, and that's not fun. Oh, you're welcome, Tracy. Yeah. So, but I think it's good to be honest about your process and your struggles. I mean, there's a lot. It's hard being a writer. It's hard trying to get published. It's hard being an indie author. It's hard trying to promote your books. I mean, it's difficult, and there's definitely going to be struggles. And I think it, humanizes you to kind of be honest about that and not just everything's great all the time. I think people like to see that kind of honesty and vulnerability, I guess. I mean, you don't, it's kind of a fine line because you don't want to be too vulnerable and, but I think a little bit of that is good. And then you want to be aware that agents and publishers will probably check out your social media. So when you're querying, they're if they're interested in your book, the first thing they're going to do is look you up on social media, on Google, just to see, what kind of following you have, what kind of things you're posting. I mean, so you don't want to post anything that's not on brand or something that would be offensive to the kind of agents and publishers that you're going after. Obviously, if you're writing in a genre of, Christian romance or you don't want to be posting really, erotic. I don't know if people even post that kind of stuff, but I mean, obviously they do, but not really explicit anyway. But I'm saying you don't want to go against your genre, your brand. And I think a good exercise to do is really kind of do some work around what you want your brand to be, like what, maybe just do some stream of consciousness writing about who you are and what kind of books you write and how you want to be known as an author, and even like your mission statement. It's good to just kind of really be aware of these things so that you can be looking at, oh, am I I'm tweeting this thing, is it really in alignment with who I am and my mission statement and all of that. And then, behind the scenes content about your process, people love that. People love, especially if you're, talking to other writers, there's something there's a lot of like camaraderie and, like NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, like everybody kind of comes together and, there's a lot of unity in that way. So I think when you share, content about your process, that's a good way to connect with other writers, Okay, and then just get creative. What kind of music do your characters like? Maybe, you can make a playlist that goes with each book. What celebrities would you want to play them in a movie? People like that kind of stuff. Are there images that evoke the tone of your writing that you can just, put together like a collage or, something there's a million ways to be creative about it. And, we're all creative people. We're all authors. So I think you just have to use social media as another tool, and you can think of it as another place that you can be creative and express your creativity. Okay. Tip number 3, don't let social media take up all of your time. So this is a good one, because, it's very easy to just, you go on Twitter and you're like, oh, I'm going to check this for 15 minutes. And then 3 hours later, you're like, oh, I've done nothing with my day. Should I have several social media accounts for different languages? Yes, that's a good question. I think so, because, there's not going to be probably, I guess it depends. If you have like maybe a lot of like bilingual followers, you might want to mix it up, I suppose. But I would think that you would want to separate out in different languages, because you would probably have different kind of brands because there are different things that work for different audiences. Like you often see really, popular books have different covers in different countries because different images speak to people of different cultures in different ways. So I think, in that way, it would probably be a good idea to have, separate social media accounts for different languages, because you're going to attract different followers that way too. Some good strategies to not let social media take up all of your time is like giving yourself specific times to check out social media and engage with your followers. That's always a good thing. I'm going to check my Instagram at 10 o'clock and I'm only going to be on there for 30 minutes and then that's it, And then scheduling out posts is always good using tools like Hootsuite or Buffer. Again, I've linked to all this stuff in my PDF. So if you want the PDF, just email me. I'll put up my email address at the end as well. And then productivity tools like Stay Focused and Rescue Time. Stay Focused is a Chrome extension where you can say, I have 10 minutes to be on Facebook. And after your 10 minutes, it will block off, that website. And, you won't be able to use it until the next day. So, but you can set the amount of time, you can set, the websites. So that can be a really good tool. Rescue time is more of just like a tool that shows you how you're using your time. So you can kind of, I think one way to really approach time management, you have to see how you are actually using your time before you can change any of it, So that's a good app to use. And you can connect it with your phone or your computer. So it'll really be accurate. And then getting an accountability partner is always a good thing too. Especially, if you have other writer friends who are maybe really involved in Twitter or Instagram or YouTube. You can, Tracy says, "You're not alone, Morgan. I feel like I'm bad at this too." See, it's like supporting other people. And when you have an accountability partner, it's like you can, message them and be like, "Are you staying on track? Are you meeting your goals? If you want to write 500 words today, did you write that?" And it can just be helpful in general. That's really more of a general tip than a social media. Hold on. Renee has a question. She says, "I'm a mom. How do I combine that and writing on Instagram without it being all about my family?" Okay, actually, I think I feel like I have it. I'll come back to that though. But another good thing to do is take the apps off of your home screen on your phone, so that you have to actually do a little bit of work to get into them, and so it's not so easy to just open up, Twitter on your phone all day. Turning the internet off during writing time, that's a good thing to do. There's also tools like Write or Die, where if you stop writing, it starts playing loud, really annoying sounds. And, that kind of pressure works for some people. It's worked really well for me actually in the past. And then taking breaks. I recently got kind of just discouraged, I guess. And I was just feeling, negative all the time. Right now is a very weird time. I don't think it's ever been this way before. We got the pandemic. We have all this, social justice things going on. We have just all this political stuff that's going on, and everybody's very tense and everybody's arguing with each other. And, sometimes you just need a break. So I think it's completely okay to just be like, "Hey, I'm not going to be on social media at all for a week," or whatever. And sometimes, we need to do that. So just make sure you are okay with that and can exercise self-care, and sometimes that means taking a break from social media. Okay. This goes back to the question that Renee had. Number 4 tip, post engaging content. Okay, so it's okay if your social media isn't all about books and writing. Sometimes you just want to talk about music or post pictures of your cats or funny memes, or in Renee's case, posting about, family and being a mom. And I think you can kind of combine that stuff with your writing, especially if you're writing about things that are connected. I don't write I don't really write anything about cats, for example, but I feel like it's very on brand for me to just post pictures of my cats, because that's something that I love, and it's something unique about me. So it's like you kind of create a persona, and part of that can be actually real things, should be real things like about you. Like if you're, a mom, or if you love cats, or if you love music, or if you're a big sports person, and, like have your team that you want to post about. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's okay to be genuine and have compartmentalization. Cannot say that word. Morgan says, it's tricky, but I try to post anything that I don't mind about my life being public, but nothing that touches on friends/family because I'm public, but they aren't. Yeah, that is a good point. Like if you are posting things about other people, you always want to get their permission. That's just good common courtesy in social media. But as you're thinking about the kind of engaging content that you can post, think about what your favorite type of content is on social media and the people you follow and what are they posting about, and then you might just want to make a content brainstorm document. So, I'm sure you've done this with like book ideas that you've had. I'm sure you've just, had some brainstorming, stream of consciousness writing time. But you can also do that with social media content, and if you just write out a bunch of ideas that you have, the next time, you don't know what to post, you can go back to your list of ideas, and, that really just kind of gives you more to work with. And then you want to mix up your content. You want to do videos, images, text, audio, don't just always do text. Don't always do images. If you're on Instagram, you do always have to do images, but on Instagram, you can mix up, do some videos, do some images, and the point is just to mix it up, just not have the same thing all the time on your social media. And then stock photography is good. So there are free resources for stock photography. And then there's some like affordable options as well. Like Envato Elements is affordable. And then I linked to all this stuff in the PDF as well. So if you want it, just email me. I'm happy to send it to you. So and then here are some other things that I linked to on this PDF that I made. So there was just some articles that I found that were really good. There was an ultimate guide to social media for writers. There's a typo there. Sorry about that. But that was really good. He went through like every social media platform and really went more in depth on the way that writers are using them to be more effective. And it was a really good read. And then there's just some other, cool articles that I found on the different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Authortube, and TikTok. I know I didn't really talk about TikTok, but there's a resource on my PDF if you want it. Okay, so that is the end of my presentation. And I've got about 15 minutes left, so I thought I would just do like a Q&A if any of you guys have questions about anything that I've said. If you have questions about, just marketing in general, I think the main thing to just be aware of is that you want to be posting engaging content, so it's really just a matter of looking at the kind of content that you enjoy from other people and kind of mimicking that, but not copying like that person. You want to make it unique to you. So yeah. Okay. No questions are coming up. Oh, okay. Charlie says, I will have to watch this again later and take notes. Thank you so much for this. Okay. Charlie, actually, you don't have to take notes because I have a PDF that I made that goes over all of this. So just email me at sarah@sarahcrawford.net, no H. And yeah, I am happy to send you my PDF. Okay, so we got a question. Okay. All right. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So Renee says on Instagram, I could just dial it back from my family and more on the writing. I think finding a way to combine the two might be good. So, I mean, you want to have a balance, so I mean, I guess it just depends. I typically think of a Facebook more for like content about, my friends and family and people that I know and reaching that. And then I think of Instagram as more of a, platform for me as an author. So that's just kind of the way that I distinguish it. So, but I think you just have to find what works for you. I mean, if you want your Instagram to have stuff about your family, post stuff about your family, I mean, you can do anything you want. I mean, and people will be attracted to genuine, authentic content, if that makes sense. Okay. And then Charlie says, what do you think about finding a niche? Finding a niche. Yeah, that's, I think that is an important thing. I don't know that I've necessarily been good at it in the past because I feel like I've been kind of all over the place and trying to, not all over the place, but like, I have a hard time just picking like one thing that I like, which is why my YouTube channel is about writing mostly, but it's also sometimes I talk about music, because music is a big passion of mine. And it's something that I love to talk about. And, I think it just, finding a niche, it is more effective. Like if you have an Instagram that is just all, cat pictures or pictures of food or whatever the, subject is, that can be sometimes more effective. But I think we're starting to see, people want to see well-rounded kind of social media accounts. I think that has an equal draw. I mean, yeah. So I probably didn't answer your question at all, but I think finding a niche can be effective, but I wouldn't look for a niche outside of something that you don't enjoy or outside of something that you do enjoy. What I'm saying is you want to find a niche that just goes with your brand and goes with who you are as a person. Like if I start another Instagram that was just cat pictures, I mean, that, would definitely go with who I am as a person, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Oh, Renee says, yes, that makes sense. So yeah, are there any other questions? Basically, social media, I like, it can be a little overwhelming. When you just think about it, oh, there's TikTok and there's Instagram and there's Twitter and there's Facebook and there's just this whole world of content, and it can get overwhelming. So you want to just kind of focus in on one platform, I think, which is kind of what I've been doing lately with Instagram. And that's not to say that I'm not on other platforms. I'm on Twitter. I do some Twitter stuff every now and then. And obviously I'm on YouTube. But I've kind of just really focused in on Instagram, and it's, I'm seeing more followers on Instagram than, other platforms, I think, because of that. So yeah, so we've got about 10 more minutes. Once again, in case you didn't see it earlier, hold on. The secret word is stories. So yes, that is the secret word. Stories. Write that down. I have a PDF of all of this stuff and links to helpful resources and tools and things. So yeah, I'm happy to share that with you. And we've got a few more minutes. So if anybody has any more questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, we might end a little bit early. I don't know. We'll see. This has been really fun, though. I haven't gotten to watch as much as I wanted to live, but it's been really, the parts that I've seen have been really cool. And it's just been really cool to kind of get to know other people more in the Authortube community. So, okay, we got another question. Okay, I'm waiting for it to show up on StreamYard. Okay, here we go. All right, on YouTube, I'm wanting to do vlogs. Would it be a bad move to incorporate my kids and writing on one channel as I share my writing journey? Personally, I don't think it would be a bad move, because I feel like there's a way to combine the two. If you're talking about your writing journey and your life, I mean, your family is a big part of your life. And I mean, it's, your family is going to be a part of your writing journey, probably in some way. It's like, you can't really separate the two. So I think that kind of content would be cool. Like, I see a lot of Authortube channels doing vlogs and more like personal content. I do see that. And you see that with other YouTubers as well. Like, so I don't think it's uncommon. I think just maybe finding a way to make it relate to your writing or your writing journey in some way would be helpful. I mean, you can't do that always, probably, but I think there are times that you can make it related. Like, I talk about music a lot, but everything I write, for the most part, has a lot of music in it. So it's kind of on brand for me to talk about music, if that makes sense. So yeah. So I think sharing, genuine, real things about your life can work. And that would be, your family, obviously. So yeah, yes. My answer to your question is yes. No, it would not be a bad move. Like, what it's like to write while being a mom. Yes. Tracy says, like, what it's like to write while being a mom. That is content that I think a lot of people can relate to, because there are a lot of just, I think I don't have kids, so I can't really speak to this, but I feel like it's a common theme that I see with the parents that I do know. They struggle with having their own identity and not just being, a mom, just being a dad. They're also people with passions and dreams and, other interests. So I think I don't think if you have a channel about your kids, like, I don't think it all needs to be about being a mom, because that's all moms, like, have other things, that they're passionate about or interested in, if that makes sense. And the writing thing, I think that's really something that people could relate to, because it's just a big struggle. How do you find time to write when you're a parent? It can be difficult. So if you have anything helpful about that, I think people would really enjoy that content, Okay, so we've got 4 more minutes. I'm going to wait a second and see if there are any more questions. But otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and thanks for listening to me ramble on about social media. Once again, I have, yes, you can also go to atvirtualretreats.com for all of the information about the Authortube writing retreat. I'll see if I can send my PDF to Keelan, maybe. See if you can get it on the website. So I don't know. But anyway, I have a PDF, lots of resources. Just let me know if you want it. Thanks for hosting this and putting so much effort into this. Aw, thank you. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I love talking about social media and marketing, and it's fun. I think, it can be easy to get overwhelmed with marketing. Oh, I have so much to do, and, but it can be exciting too. You just have to think of it as a challenge. You have to think of it as a puzzle, kind of. You have to find the right pieces, find the right platform for you, find the right content, to make. So, yeah. So it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So that's my main theme of this session, is that social media should not be overwhelming. Yeah. So thanks so much, everybody, for watching. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, you can check out my YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com/Sarah Crawford. And what else? I have a podcast called the Find Creative Expression Podcast. And, people might be interested in that because it's just all conversations about creativity and art. The first 3 guests that I've had, because I've only been doing it for 3 episodes now, were all writers. So, and then this second week I had Carrie Jones, who's a New York Times bestselling YA author. So, if you guys want to check that out, that's also on my YouTube channel, or you can find it on Spotify and wherever else you do a podcast. Yeah. So, yeah. Have a awesome time in the rest of the retreat. I'm going to be on the panel tonight at 9 about self-publishing, which I'm super excited about. So yeah, definitely tune in for that and go watch the next session. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.